Hello, what's up everybody? So, if I'm wondering if, saw the London Olympics, yeah, USA basketball won gold in the men's and also the women's. Don't forget about you girls, but woohoo! That's good. We won gold. And, yeah, there's a bunch of mishaps in their fixed games and stuff, talking about, some fix bronze medal fix up for, like, Japan's bronze medal has traded up for a silver medal in the beginning, and the bronze soccer game, they never count the guys, and never count the men's soccer game, they never count a goal for Japan, so some of the guys scored and never counted. That's fixed also. Yeah, but either way, there's also a lot of stuff that has been fixed. Oh, steroids in there, but yeah, one of the Chinese swimmers might found it to be positive for steroid use. I don't know. It was an investigation. Somebody told me about it. So this is what happened. The ending, it came out with British pop groups. Oh yeah, Britain was the one that had began the wave back in 1964, and then after that, I saw it pretty cool. Spice Girls was there. Yeah, I never saw the whole thing, but all these British pop groups. K-pop, on the other hand, is going on the way of Great Britain, of Britpop music. In a way, this is kind of like they're trying to go in the same path musically as Britain, and then talking about Korea is becoming like the Great Britain of music from back in the 1960s when the Beatles came. I wasn't even born. It's becoming like 1960. The Korean music or pop music or K-pop, Korea is becoming like Great Britain musically back in 1964 when the Beatles used to be very popular. From the Great Britain from the mid-1960s musically is what South Korea is trying to prove, right? I'm not saying I never listened to that, but maybe someday they'll make another Olympics in Seoul. When that another Olympics in Seoul, how Britain has done with their pop music, same thing. That someday Korea might have their own artists, and even those, South Korea is the Britain of Asia when it comes to popular music. So now I'll tell you baseball. How absent is baseball in the Olympics when it's coming? When baseball is not gonna come to Rio. Yeah, and probably 2020. Yeah. But this is the fact. This is a matter of fact. Steroids next year is going to come back in baseball. So, I saw this on TV, or I read some web article on the internet about China's thirst for gold medals to surpass. Oh, thank God. USA #1, and you go girl in every athlete, because most of the athletes that brought most of the medal leads for the USA were females. And plus, yes, they're clean, they're all clean, but now let's talk about bringing back baseball in the Olympics and steroids returning to baseball. When the day steroids return to baseball is either whoever wins. But this is just a matter of fact of putting love or hate situation, or whatever it is you try to hate in this video, and you've probably put negative comments of who and who. Oh yeah, I ain't saying I'm not gonna blame anyone, but one of those baseball teams at the end of the World Baseball Classics will have baseball players infected with steroids. The new, probably the new World Baseball Classic champs will be contaminated with steroids. You know, I'm just gonna give you my opinion and what do I think. The World Baseball Classic final, you know, China has trained their own baseball players and they have the tactics. So if I was thinking, if baseball comes back to the Olympics, well, most likely the new champs of the World Baseball Classics are steroid users. Why? Because if these new champs, if China gets, no, not China, if Japan gets second place in the World Baseball Classic, and then baseball returns back to the Olympics, then all of their baseball players of this new team, well, ladies are gonna melt down because they're all jacked up and stuff. And let me tell you about it. The new champs, when it's not Japan, they're gonna be steroids, are steroid users. They'll use invisible steroids, undetectable. Nobody says, oh, they passed the drug test with flying colors. Why? Because if their nation has boosted their economy, so after that they have enough money to invest on invisible steroids, undetectable steroids. So for that matter of fact, baseball returns to the Olympics with the new WBC 2013 champs will be using steroids, and that's just my opinion. That's not a fact. So if it's between the baseball final for the championship, for the World Baseball Championship, one of those two teams or one of those two Asian nations are going to have most of their baseball players using undetectable steroids. Alright? So who do you think it is? Alright? So if we see the final in 2013 of the World Baseball Classic, China versus Japan or Japan versus China in baseball, one of them, whoever between China and Japan, one of those teams from those nations will have baseball players all jacked up, all juiced, using anabolical steroids, and they'll win the first World Baseball Classic tournament, or probably the third one if Chinese folks thinks, okay, the third one Japan's gonna use steroids on China. Well, this is an opinion, or this is a matter of fact. Just to put this comment in the final game of the World Baseball Classic 2013 between China and Japan, or Japan and China, Japan versus China, or China versus Japan, whatever you make it, this is the final end for the championship, for Japan's third title or China's first baseball classic, World Baseball Classic title in 2013, to bring back baseball in the Olympics, so their baseball team will be winning gold medals spontaneously. So if it's China is the one, because it's gonna be very true. If it's China is the only team that have baseball players that use steroids, says China. If it's Japan for their third title, you say it's Japan because China is because they don't want to be outbeaten by China. They look China like it was dirt, like China's dirt in baseball. So if it is so, yes, have admitted the World Baseball Classic for 2013. If you see China with most of their baseball players all juiced up, all jacked, ripped, muscular, sexual objects for women, then says, okay, China is the one that's going to have baseball players that use steroids. Or if you think if it's Japan that use steroids for the third title, so they could beat Japan, said, oh, Japan will be the one with baseball players using steroids for the final game between China versus Japan, or Japan versus China for the World Baseball Classic for their championship, for Japan's third title, or China's first title of the World Baseball Classics to bring baseball back in the Olympics. So write a comment and tell me what you think. Bye.